Hey everybody, it's Sam Sidequest and welcome to another video. Today I wanted to show off my work from home / gaming setup. Over a year ago my work became a fully remote job, and because I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment with my wife, I had to get creative with the space we have with my gaming PC setup as well as my at-home office. I've made various changes over the past year and a half and finally have a setup that meets all of my needs, not only from a professional standpoint, but also from a personal gaming one. I thought it'd be fun to walk you all through my setup, so with that, let's go ahead and get started. So first place to start is my favorite piece of tech in the house, and that's my gaming PC. I built this PC towards the end of last year, and it was my first small form factor build that I used the Encase M1 for. While this build was very challenging and frustrating at times to say the least, it was completely worth all the effort, and I'm a huge fan of how it turned out. It's just so insane to me how far technology has advanced to have such a powerful PC in such a small and compact form factor, and I just love how it looks sitting on top of my desk. Inside of the build, I'm rocking a Ryzen 3900X on an Asus Strix ROG B550i motherboard with 32GB of RAM clocked at 3200 MHz, but the main star of the show is this RTX 3080 Founders Edition that I was lucky enough to find for retail price directly from the Nvidia shop earlier in November. For the monitor, I have an LG 38GN950B. I've always wanted an ultra-wide monitor, not only for gaming, but also for productivity reasons for work. And this monitor, after some research, has been perfect for me. It overclocks to 175 Hz, so it's great for some of the competitive games I like to play, like Valorant and League of Legends, but it's also 1440p, so single player games look great on it as well. Things like Cyberpunk 2077 or Final Fantasy XIV. I was deciding between this and the Odyssey G9, but ended up choosing the LG for the taller screen resolution and the IPS panel, and I've also had really good experiences with LG panels in the past. I have it mounted on an Amazon Basics arm that has been great for me, and I've really had zero complaints about as well. Moving down to the peripherals, another one of my favorite pieces of tech in the house is this custom keyboard that I built. I used the KBD Fans D65 for the case. For the switches, I used original aspiration linear switches. I lubed them and used some Max Key SA keycaps. Building this keyboard was no small undertaking, and it was very difficult at times, but the end results were 100% worth it. I had heard that custom keyboards, the typing experience was much more enjoyable, but it was way more than I expected, and the sound is just something else as well. So for the mouse, I'm using the Logitech G Pro Wireless, which has lived up to all the hype and praise that I had heard, and coming from a wired SteelSeries mouse, I don't think I'll ever go back to wired again. So for audio, I went with a pair of Bose speakers whenever I don't feel like wearing my headphones, but majority of the time, whenever I'm gaming, listening to music, or watching a movie or show, I do use these headphones, the Beyerdynamic DT990s, and I use them with the Sound Blaster X3 as my amp and DAC. I'm by no means an audiophile, so take my opinion on these with a grain of salt, but they are without a doubt the best sounding headphones that I've personally ever used, and I love the comfort of them. Also, the impact that they've had on my in-game sound for things like footsteps and competitive games made a way bigger difference than I initially expected, and I can easily recommend them. Now, since I do spend a lot of time at my desk with either working or gaming, I knew I wanted to get a standing desk to switch it up throughout the day for better habits. So after some research, I bought the Foley Jarvis standing desk with the bamboo desktop, and it's been a game changer for me. I've even started gaming a lot more while standing because it's just so convenient, and since there's very little wobble when it's fully extended, it's made that experience of standing and gaming very enjoyable for me personally. My job also involves a lot of Zoom calls with clients and team members, which means I would need a good sounding microphone and a good quality webcam. Luckily for me, around a year and a half ago, I decided I wanted to invest in those two things for live streaming and video making for the channel, so I ended up going with basic Logitech HD webcam and a HyperX Quadcast for my microphone. I bought them a year and a half ago before they were nearly impossible to find, so I've been able to utilize these both for work and video making, which has been an awesome investment. I also have this pegboard from IKEA next to my setup on the wall, which is where I hang and display my Switch and Oculus Quest 2. I also like to put the first volume of the current series I'm reading on display, so right now that's Yu Yu Hakusho, and I also like to put up some controls for decoration too. I have my Switch set up to my monitor with the audio passing through to my speakers, so sometimes whenever I want to relax on the bed, I'll rotate and swivel the monitor to face my bed, and I'll game on the Switch from here. The last big part of the setup is the VR gaming portion with my Oculus Quest 2 that I connect with my computer for more graphically intense games, utilizing the Oculus Link. This is a more recent purchase that I've had, so I'm still building up my VR legs and have experienced some motion sickness while in specific games, but the experiences I've had so far have been amazing, specifically with games like Half-Life Alyx and Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. And then lastly, to the left, I do have one of my bookcases to display some of my favorite manga series that I own. I do have a couple other bookshelves that I'll show off in more detail in an upcoming manga collection video later this year, but I do like having some of my favorite series just to the left of my desk that I can look at throughout the day and quickly access some books that I want to read. So there's everything in my work from home and gaming setup that I wanted to show off. If you see any pieces of tech or any items in this video that I forgot to mention the specific name for or where I was able to pick them up, please feel free to drop a comment and a question and I'll be sure to respond. With that, let me guys know what you thought of my gaming / work from home setup. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and thank you so much for watching. Peace out.